Now let's talk a little politics. We've got Marc Thiessen, former White House speechwriter and Fox News contributor. And if that weren't enough, we've got Rich Lowry, editor-in-chief of the National Review. All right, we're talking power here. So tell me I'm crazy, Rich Lowry. I'm saying, I said it, I was working with Sandra Smith on her show and here on this show and Tommy Tuberville. Trump has a message that everyone wants to ignore. The message is, essentially, success is the best revenge. That is to say, successful policies will grow the economy, that will unify the country. Now, I believe he will try his best to get that message out tonight. He doesn't want to go and mud wrestle. Yes, he'll jab back if he has to, but I think he's going to get that message out. But the whole media says no, and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. What does Rich Lowry think?
Biden's going to try to provoke him, call him convicted felon repeatedly, and Trump has to defend himself on that and will fiercely, but he should always bring it back to what you're talking about. And I just think Trump doesn't have to land knockout blows tonight. Usually you're a challenger running against an incumbent president. You need to make the case he needs to be fired. But I think people are already ready to fire Joe Biden, and the only question is whether they're with the alternative. So if Trump just controls himself, is acceptable to people, he will win the debate. And I think that the range of outcomes for Trump, he could hurt himself a little bit, could help himself a little bit. For Biden, the range of outcomes is much bigger. Could help himself a little bit, could destroy himself.
Well, we get Kellyanne to strap in here. We're all blessed. all blessed by her presence right off the Acela. I think she parachuted here.
I think your shrewd producers are covering this at the moment.
They're covering them out. They know
actually seeing us. She's going to magically appear.
We had an empty debate chair, but it's been filled by one of the smartest people in the country. I just want to ask Marc, on this point, Rich hinted at the end of his comment. This is a bigger thing for Biden tonight than it is for Trump, okay? Biden screws up even a little bit, and they're going to be howling. You had this, I know we're not poll-driven, but the New York Times Siena poll came out today. It's worse for Biden. Trump's pulling away nationally, much less in the swing states and on the issues. So I'm just saying, this is bigger for Biden, isn't it?
It is. Trump is the front runner, without a doubt. It's closer than a lot of people think. I think we don't want to get irrational exuberance, even though I think he's going to win. But he needs every single vote. And so what I think one of the very interesting polls that came out recently, the New York Times Siena poll asked, has Donald Trump ever said anything to offend you? And 6 in 10 people said either never or not recently. Among younger voters, 77% said that.
Never bothered me. I just want to put that in there.
But so, you know, there are a lot of people who like Donald Trump's policies but didn't like his behavior, didn't like his temperament and all the rest of that. And we've now had 4 years where they haven't seen him every day. They haven't been exposed to him every day. And so in this debate, he wants to go into that debate thinking about the swing voter who likes his policies, who thinks Joe Biden is a disaster, but isn't quite sure if they can pull the lever for Donald Trump. How is he going to persuade that person and let that person give themselves permission to vote in their self-interest?
Just playing it straight, I think. Kellyanne, you caught your breath. Thank you for doing this. I know you're running from the train. We appreciate it very much. So the intro here was my view. Actually, Tommy Tuberville agreed with it. Wes Hunt and Byron Donalds agree. Trump has a message that the liberal media doesn't want to hear, and that is success of the policies will breed unity throughout the country.
Correct.
And, you know, you and I have talked a million times, there's an affordability crisis, there's a housing affordability crisis. All these data points are in Trump's favor, and I think he's going to have the big picture theme, and then his punches are going to be on the merits of those data points. What say you?
I believe the president will channel the people's grievances and not his own. Having said that, folks are looking for strength and fairness. They don't see either. A strong military, a strong border, a strong economy, strength for the U.S. abroad again, so that we feel proud when we're entangled abroad. Also, fairness has become a huge governing theme in this country. So Trump likes to say there's a two-tiered system of justice against him, but most people are saying it's not fair for plumbers and pipe fitters to pay for the student loans of doctors and lawyers. It's not fair that 10 million people have crossed the southern border, a number larger than the population of about 40 states. It's not fair that you have men and women's sports. It's not fair that the tax system is what it is. And I think that fairness is different than what the left sells, which is equity, 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 Equity is a quality of outcomes. Fairness is a quality of opportunity. And I think if President Trump promises people that things will feel fair again, that you can get ahead, folks just feel like there's just a lack of control, lack of security. The other thing I like to say, it's not just a test of wills, a test of acuity, agility, ability tonight. It's a test of their records. And when you put the records side by side,
you look at the numbers.
You can choose.
Look at the numbers.
And I want to say one thing about President Trump's personality. It turns out he's the guy that Biden promised he'd be. It's Trump trying to unify. He's meeting with Mitch McConnell. He's telling David Valadao, congressman from California who voted to impeach him, let me know if I can help you in your race this
Larry
year.
Hogan in Maryland.
He's endorsing Larry Hogan for Senate. Well, Larry Hogan's saying, I will not endorse Donald Trump. Great. That's a unifier, but nothing quite unifies us all as prosperity, opportunity, growth for all.
I think
and
that's
people know in 2019 we had the best household income in history, including the rising tide that lifted all boats. Folks want to get back to that. CNN thinks they're doing a big civic service by muting Donald Trump's microphone. Oh, my goodness. Joe Biden has to mandatorily speak for half of the debate. Make mine a double. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's almost 5 o'clock here. I mean, make mine a double. This is great.
Larry, this raises another point. I do not understand. Biden's tucked away for a week at Camp David, all right, and they set up this debate set in the airplane hangar and so forth and so on. And he's got 16 advisors. Of course, there's probably twice as many. They're drilling him twice a day. And I've said this last night. Look, I have most of my marbles left. If you made me do 90 minutes twice a day, and you're throwing 16, 20 people at me, and they're all firing questions and darts and numbers, I wouldn't get anything out of that.
But what does it speak to?
That could be ruined.
What does it speak to, right? A lack of trust.
What does it speak to?
A lack of trust.
From his own people.
Right, exactly. I mean, they're probably rehearsing him walking out to the podium and walking off the podium, everything. And look, 9 p.m. for Joe Biden is like 1 in the morning, right? So I wouldn't count on him totally flubbing it, right? I wouldn't expect it necessarily. But if there's a major flub, especially if it's a little weird or a little funny, and can be spread on social media, for days afterwards, that could be a torpedo to the bow.
All right. Marc, one other thing. Ben Domenici said this last night on the show. It was a very interesting point. He said, most of the people watching this debate do not believe that they will be watching Joe Biden as a president in the next 4 years. And what he was referring to was Kamala Harris. That they may see Biden, but no one expects him, even if he wins, to last 4 years. And so there's Kamala Harris lurking in the background in the shadows, and that's a big negative for Biden. Have you thought about that? Does that make any sense? That was
100%.
Interesting to me.
So this is going to become a theme, which is that he's not the real nominee. Look, there is not a single serious person who will tell you that Joe Biden will finish a second term. Kamala Harris is. I mean, if you just look at the Social Security actuarial tables, the odds are that it's not going to happen. If I was advising Donald Trump, hint Kellyanne, I would tell him to show up at the vice presidential debate and debate her too, because she's the real nominee.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, look, a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala. She has turned the vice presidency into a no-show job. Most days it says there is nothing on the vice president's public schedule today.
Wow.
How is this possible? How is she the least busy person that we know? And I think you're going to see a lot more money behind that entire notion. In fact, the Trump campaign is releasing 2 ads tonight during the debate. One is called Promises, and it shows Joe Biden's lack of promise keeping. But it also, the second one really makes this case that a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris. And that's scary. If you don't believe us, believe Democrats. People who were so excited about Kamala Harris as the vice president now want to talk to you about the weather and your kids. And they may be standing in a rainstorm and you may not even have kids and they want to talk to you about the weather and kids. Anything to not talk about Kamala. I personally know some donors who want to put their money and their treasure, their time and talent behind this kind of initiative going into the fall, which is you have to be afraid of her because people have seen her in action. She has shed 28 senior staffers. Let me make one big pitch for Trump's personality. So you don't get these policies without his personality. You don't get the trade deals.
So Biden's not doing public events and Kamala's not doing public. Who's showing up in public from the Biden administration?
I just want to close with one thought.
AI generated.
Doug Burgum, the governor of North Dakota, looks a lot like George Washington. That's the last thing I'm going to say. Rich Lowry, Kellyanne Conway, Marc Thiessen, thank you ever so much.